All right, we're here with interview number 7. My guest today is Josh Hlavaty. Josh, thank you so much for being here.
You got it, man. What's going on?
Not much. Hey, so why don't you give people just kind of a brief overview of yourself and what you're going to be talking about today?
Sure. I guess actually today's my 22nd birthday, so I'm 22 now.
Awesome. Happy birthday.
Thank you, man.
Yep.
College student, always trying to make a little money on the side. And obviously with this whole coronavirus thing kind of put a damper on me being employed. So I was
Sure.
looking for options of things to do. And a couple of my friends recommended me start doing Instacarts. And I guess that's what I'm going to be talking about and explaining today.
Cool. So what exactly is Instacart?
So Instacart it's one of two things. One, it's an app where you can order groceries and have them delivered to your house. And then there's
Mhm.
another app called Instacart Shopper, which is the thing that I'm using. So basically, people are going to make those orders for whatever they want from a grocery store. So, for instance, the grocery store that is nearest me that uses Aldi. So they're going to
Yep.
make an order from Aldi, and I'm going to actually go into the store with my shopper app. It's going to give me a list of groceries that they ordered, and I'm going to go throughout the store, pick up all their items, and then drive to their house and deliver it to them.
Mm. And so for that consumer that is kind of putting in the order, is there kind of like an annual fee or what does it cost to kind of use for that?
So the only thing that's going to happen for them to use is they're going to get charged a little bit extra, obviously, for the delivery, and then they can have
Yep.
the opportunity to put a tip on it immediately online. But then other than that, the way the Instacart makes money, for instance, is Aldi's actually paying Instacart for the customer acquisition.
Gotcha. Cool. So how many orders are you doing kind of per day right now?
So it really varies. So right now, normally before this kind of quote unquote crisis has kind of happened, obviously
Yeah.
people were totally fine with leaving their house. Well, now they're not. So we
Right.
have a lot more orders right now. So I can go back to back to back on orders. Normally I'm doing about seven, probably anywhere from 4 to 7 a day, which doesn't
Mhm.
seem like that many. But obviously the orders now are a little bit bigger. So people, instead of
Right.
ordering 25 items, they're getting 50 items.
Right.
So it's been really interesting the other thing is that profits are just up. People are willing to tip a little bit more now because they're like, well, these people are potentially risking something now, whereas in the
Right.
past we weren't.
Yeah.
But it's been, and people also a lot nicer to us. Like for instance, yesterday I actually had a lady that asked me to add on a thing of flowers for myself, to thank me, and I was like, all right, I
Yeah.
guess I'll take some flowers.
Yeah. Okay. Oh man, she should have asked you what you wanted and you could have just ran the store, but that's nice
That's
too.
right.
Yeah. Cool. So, and when you say you run the 7 to 8 orders, that's you going, you're getting everything, and then you're driving it to their house and you're dropping it off, correct?
Yes, sir. So
Yep.
there's actually a waiting list of orders. So you'll see how many orders are active within your area. So like for instance, I live in a town called Ashland in Ohio,
Yep.
and I'm only going to get orders for Ashland when I'm in the county or in that area. Now, if I were to drive
Gotcha.
over to another town, I'm going to start getting those orders as well for those people. And then there'll be a queue of how many orders are available, and it'll show how much you're going to make from each order and how many items there are, and then how far away it will be from the Aldi or the whatever the place you're shopping at is going to be. So then you can decide whether or not you want to select that order or not, and it's kind of just like first come, first serve.
Yeah. Gotcha. And so for you, you really are, you're an employee of Instacart, right? But you're working
Yes.
with the businesses that they work for. So it would just be like you're pretty much exclusively Aldi, but you're still an Instacart employee.
Yeah, so the only reason I'm exclusively Aldi is because the town I live in small, and the only place that does it is Aldi.
Yeah.
If I were,
Right.
and then CVS in my town does some. CVS is mildly a nightmare because it's just, I don't know if you've ever been to a CVS pharmacy, but it's not really laid out super well. And I don't
Right.
go to a CVS pharmacy that often. So I go in there
Yeah.
trying to find like 6 items, and it takes me 10 minutes because I'm like,
Sure.
where on earth are the dried cranberries? Where are
Yeah.
dried cranberries in CVS?
Yeah, definitely.
But for instance, the town over from me, there's 3 or 4 different shopping places that allow me to go in there and shop for Instacart.
Yeah, cool. So for you getting started, kind of talk about what that process is like for you to get like started. Is there like an interview process, or do you essentially just fill out a bunch of forms and then you kind of get certified, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so you download the shopper app, and they'll take you through the process. They're going to ask you, obviously, for basic information like you would sign up for anything else.
Yep.
And then you're going to start going through the process. of they're going to ask them just basic questions. Like, for instance, one of them is, if a customer ordered a gallon of 2% milk and there is no 2% milk, what do you do? Well, the answer is you replace it with 2 half gallons of 2% milk or whatever,
Gotcha.
because
Yeah.
Instacart always wants you to replace if you can. And normally the customer wants you to replace the item as well. So it's kind of a you have to try to find the better item. Anyway, so you're going to continue on in this process, and they're going to ask for a picture of your driver's license. So the picture of your driver's license does 2 things for Instacart. One, it confirms that they're going to do a background check on you to find out what your driving record is, to find out, like, if you have a ton of accidents, they're not going to want you, because Instacart is in some ways liable if you, during a delivery, get an accident or anything. They have an opportunity to step in and either help or, get help or get hurt in that situation. And the other thing it's going to do is confirm that you actually have a working camera, which you need to do Instacart, because you're actually scanning barcodes as you go throughout the store. So you have the right items and whatnot. So, and then other than that, you just wait to get accepted. You get accepted, and they actually send you a debit card. I don't have it in here on me, but they'll send you a debit card. So you're not using your own card. They're going to preload this debit card immediately before you complete every order.
Gotcha. Cool. And so how long was that process for you?
So I think it took about maybe a week to 10 days for them to confirm me and then actually get my debit card in the mail. And then as soon as you get that thing, it's off to the roads.
Yeah, that's sweet. So what did you do to create an account? Did you just go to instacart.com, or what can people do if this is like
literally just there's 2 Instacart apps. One is the official Instacart app, is where you strictly order things, and the other one is the Instacart Shopper app. Just download the Shopper app, and it's laid out in front of you to make an account, just step by step. Super simple, makes sense. They're not going to ask for any crazy questions. So
cool. So right now, like, just in the grocery stores, is it just you and a bunch of other Instacart people, or do you know how many other people are doing this, like, currently right now in Ashland?
So in my town, I would say that there's probably about 15 other people that are consistently doing it, and then other people that are just taking random ones here and there. I mean, there's 4 of my closest friends do it along with me. So I'll be in the store and just see them periodically throughout the day. So it's a lot of fun. Normally you can kind of figure out who's doing an Instacart, because they'll just be sitting there looking at their phone, trying to scan stuff. The other thing is, and this is kind of optional, after you've done your first order, they send you this little lanyard, and you can choose to wear it in the store while you shop, so that people kind of know that you're doing Instacart orders. I choose not to do it because I don't really need people to know that I'm doing Instacart orders. I'm just there shopping. But some people do choose to wear that. So
right. Plus, it just looks cool if you're showing up at a grocery store 7 to 8 times a day for different carts, and you just keep them on the surprise, as you're scanning with the same person.
The workers figure out what you're doing pretty fast. They'll start chatting to you about it. So even some of the actually employees, for instance, that are checking me out, have talked to me about some of the stuff that they've done, because some of them are running Instacart orders as well. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, cool. And not to get like too in the weeds or get too into what's going on with you financially here, but when you sign up to be an Instacart shopper, you said you get paid like based. So is it like an hourly thing, or what does that salary kind of look like in terms of,
so you're getting paid per order. So Instacart is paying 60 cents per mile that you drive, first off the top, and no order can be below $7, I believe. Okay. And then on top of that, there's going to be different kind of boosts for if it's so Instacart, for instance, people who are ordering for the first time, they'll put a little fire mark next to the order, which means that the price is being raised because it's a first time shopper. So they want to get that thing there as fast as possible and with as few hitches as possible. So there's a little bit of a pay incentive, which now is happening a lot more often. Right. And then obviously then the customer is going to get an opportunity to put a tip on top of there. So the orders will range. So like, for instance, if I have an order that's in the same town, not on the outside of the town, but within the town that the Aldi's at, it's going to be anywhere from a $10 to a $15 order normally. And that's tip plus what Instacart is paying me directly. And then, but then some of the orders, so my favorite orders are to take whatever, I don't really care about the size, but I enjoy driving. So I'll take the ones that are a little bit farther out. And some of those I'm making $25 an order. And sometimes it's taking me about the same amount of time as if I was taking an order that's inside the city and making a little bit more money because the size of the orders are all kind of the same. There's just a driving
Yeah.
difference, and I kind of have a lead foot, so I get there a little faster. But so like for instance, yesterday was actually my best day that I've had since I started doing Instacart. I've only been doing it for a couple weeks right now, so I'm
Hmm.
not super. I'm still kind of new to it, but I actually
Yeah.
had an $175 day off
Oh,
of 7
sweet.
hours of work, so that ends up being about $25 an hour. So that was
Yeah.
fantastic. And
Really
right
good.
now, the average is about $18 an hour that I've made over weeks after it's compounded.
Wow. That's sweet. Um, and so kind of, I had my question and I kind of forgot it there. Um, but so with everything kind of going on in the Instacart thing, and not to get you like too comparative, but obviously, like, is there like the competition? Because I know like Bueller, so I live in Ashland too, so obviously they have their online ordering. So is Instacart kind of like in direct competition with like the local stores that are offering that, or are they kind of working together with most of these like stores and
So
locations?
some of them are working together and some of them are not. So like for instance, Walmart right now has orders that they're doing where you can come pick up your own stuff
Right.
and sit outside their store and wait.
Yep.
Bueller's obviously in Ashland has always had the opportunity to be able to pick up your items if you wanted to, whether you went inside and shopped or not.
Gotcha.
So I'm not sure what the relationship with Instacart that the Ashland Bueller's has, but
Yeah.
I know, for instance, in Worcester allows Instacart to shop through it. So I'm not sure what the difference there is,
Gotcha.
but
Yeah.
I know I've seen Bueller's orders in Worcester for that. So, and it allows Instacart basically has it set up really nice for the shopper. So me to be able to do as many different places as I possibly can. So like, for instance, if I go to Columbus, I can go to Costco. Now, Costco, you need a membership to get in. So
Yeah.
Instacart is actually has the person who hired you's Costco code input into the phone. So when you walk in, you just show the
Right.
person that at the front door, and then you get to go in and do Costco orders. Now, I don't mean to entice anybody, but Costco orders you're getting like $50 orders for like 10 items sometimes because people in
Yeah.
Columbus there's a higher demand for it and people just have a
Right.
little bit more money.
Sure. And so is that something like when you get ready to start, do you have to like clock in and just say, "Hey, I'm open for business," or so you kind of get to pick and choose when you want to be open?
Yeah, so as soon as a store opens, you're allowed to start receiving orders. So when
Gotcha.
I go to my dashboard and see how many live orders there are, I'll click on it and then I'll swipe to accept it. So and then after I swipe to accept it, when I actually get to the store, I can then swipe again to start shopping. And then when I have finished the list, I'll swipe again to go to checkout. I'll
Mm,
check out, enter the number of bags that I got because at Aldi you have to pay for bags. So,
yeah.
and then
Right.
I'll swipe one more time to confirm that I'm on my way with the delivery, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of a step
Yeah.
by step process that they give you.
Yeah. And do you have to coordinate with, I mean, when you're making the deliveries, is it something like you have to drop off at the door and like make sure they receive it? Or what are some of the hoops you have to jump through for that?
Yeah, so they'll send you once you say that you are starting the delivery process. So when you've actually gotten in your car and you're starting to drive towards their place,
Yep.
there's a quick link to your GPS. So you just click that; it goes right to your GPS,
Yeah.
and they'll have delivery instructions. So sometimes they'll have nothing, which normally means that they're going to be there at the door waiting for you. Or
Hmm.
some people will be very specific about where they want to leave it. It's so that's pretty nice. So like for instance, some people are just like leave it at the door, thanks.
Yep.
Other people are come knock and say hello before you deliver it, or leave it in the garage, or so they
Right.
get notifications once you complete every task. Like for instance, once I finish shopping and they know I'm in checkout, they'll get a notification and know that I'm going to be there soon.
Mm,
And then the only thing about if I leave them at their door, Instacart asks that I take a picture of it, gives me the option to take a picture of it sitting at their doorstep. So then they know and Instacart knows that I've delivered it.
right. Um, and you may not know this as much since you just started because of obviously the pandemic we're going through. But
Sure.
what kind of precautions, like obviously with touching other people's groceries or doing anything like that, is there anything specific that you have to do when you're getting stuff, or is it pretty just standard? You just go in the grocery store and you kind of pick everything out, and then it's
Yeah, so Instacart has some different training things that they've asked that their drivers do. I haven't completed any of those processes yet because it's not mandatory.
yeah,
But I'm also respectful of the situation that we're in.
Yep.
So I'm using hand sanitizer, before and after I go into the stores. Obviously, if I'm using the bathroom at any point, I'm washing my hands really well.
Yep.
So I'm trying to do my part to make sure that I'm not going to pass anything along to anybody. Some of the Instacart other people in the store are using gloves or are wearing a face mask. But I'm not as concerned. I guess my rationale with thinking with gloves is that I could also just get something on my gloves. So I
Yeah.
just normally, if my hands have touched something, I'll be able to feel, my hands. So I know that it's a little bit more difficult to make sure I disinfected my gloved hands than just my hands.
Right. Sure. Cool. So, just quickly too, out of personal curiosity, so you said you're 22. Is this your senior year? Are you at AU?
Yeah, I'm at AU. So
Yeah.
not my senior year though, because I transferred. So I'm actually going to be a
Gotcha.
junior next semester. So I'm an old sophomore right now, but going to be an old junior too.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I was just thinking about that. I was like, what a crazy senior year if that's what you're about to have, is leaving it with the COVID-19 pandemic. So
yeah, man.
hopefully it'll all be gone by the time you're a senior.
Oh, I hope so. It better be, man.
Yeah.
It better
That's
be.
cool. I mean, is there anything else you kind of want people to know about Instacart? Because I definitely think it's a great tool. Honestly, when you brought it up, that was the first time I really ever heard of it. I kind of live under a tech blanket sometimes, but
fair enough.
Yeah. So obviously with right now, because for all the people that are still going to the grocery store and still doing everything they need, but that's a pretty cool option. So.
Yeah, the only other thing I would say would be that, especially if you're interested in the shopping option like I'm doing, you can make some extra money. You can do it whenever you want. It's like a part-time job, or you can make it a full-time job. So like, for instance, I might get over, full-time hours. Last week, I got 60 hours worth of work. So I can kind of decide what I want to do and when I want to do it. So I would super recommend it, especially if you have a car, you're my age, you're bored at home, and your parents will let you leave the house. I would absolutely recommend doing it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Josh, I appreciate your time and kind of talking about this today.
You got it, man.
Hope it was worth your time.
For sure, dude.
Cool, man. All right. Well, appreciate it.
You got it, man. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.